I don't know if you play sports or do anything like that, but if you do, you've probably been to the chiropractor. And I know the chiropractor, it's first off, if you haven't been, amazing. Like literally you go in feeling one way and you feel some other type of way when you get out. But you get in there and I know that at first when I first went, I'm kind of like overwhelmed and nervous about the whole process. I think part of it is because they're like cracking your neck and the only other time you see that is in a movie when someone's like murdering someone. So anyways, I get in and kind of get situated. They crack my back and start to get comfortable. But I remember after a while of going to the chiropractor, maybe a couple months now, my chiropractor comes in and he goes, "Hey, I want to do a wellness check with you." And I don't really know what that is. This is a whole new experience to me. And so I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's a doctor, so you just kind of listen to him. Probably bad on my part, but we'll forget about that. Anyway, so I go into the doctor's office and he kind of starts to ask me some questions. So he says some stuff like, what's your diet look like? Which that exposes me right off the bat. But then he starts to talk to me a little bit more about like, do you exercise? Do you have any goals or kind of things that you're looking for with health and things? And so I answer the questions, as I'm supposed to. And after a while, he kind of goes, okay, we've completed your wellness check. He took notes on everything that I'd said and he put it in a file. And I remember we finished the check and I'm like, "Doc, like, what are we doing here?" I didn't call him Doc. That's weird. But anyways, I was like, "What are we doing here?" Like, trying to, I thought I'm just getting, my back cracked. And now next thing I know, I'm doing this, wellness check. What is this? And he said something that was really interesting with me and something that I think, especially as we're kind of talking here in the next few moments, especially for those of you that have attended maybe a club for a while or been going to church for a while, something that changed my perspective on all of it. So he says this, he says, when you come to the chiropractor, you kind of can get your neck adjusted, or maybe if you have a joint out of place, you can get it kind of realigned so that you feel better. But the truth is this, there's all of your nerve endings, or about 95% of your nerve endings are on the outside of your body. So let's say that maybe you have the nerve endings in your skin or maybe even some of your joints. You can feel the pain that's on the outside. But the truth is 95% of your body, everything on the inside doesn't have nerve endings in it. In other words, it can't feel pain and it can't feel pleasure. And he said something crazy. He said you could have a cancer on the inside of you, but the truth is because there's no nerve endings on the inside, you can't feel it and you don't even know it's there. And it's not until some of those things that are on the inside come to the outside of your body that you begin to recognize that there's been something growing inside of you that you could have addressed way earlier on if you would have just slowed down and recognized that it was there. And I remember hearing that and thinking, man, how many of us is that the case? Where we go through life and maybe we go to church week in, week out. We go to a Youth Alive club week in, week out, but we just completely miss some things that are on the inside because we don't slow down enough. In Psalm chapter 139, the writer says something amazing in verse 23. "Search me, O God, know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts, and see if there's any grievous way in me. Lead me to the way everlasting." I think we talk a lot about how Jesus can be a transformative person. He can completely change our life. But the truth is, we don't sometimes let him lead us to this way that can change us. So what does this all mean for us? I think what it's really important to do is really slow down. We need to take some space where, yeah, it's great if you're coming to church, but my question for you is, do you really slow down enough to allow yourself to see what's going on the inside? Maybe there's a relationship at home that is eating away at you, and it's so much easier to distract yourself with other things. But the truth is, right now, God's telling you it's time to slow down and address kind of some of the things that relationship's doing in your heart. Maybe you're struggling with some sort of addiction or some sin that you just can't seem to get out of, and you say, well, maybe if I distract myself with everything else, I'll be better. But the truth is, God's saying to you right now, however you're watching this, whoever you are, he's speaking to you and saying it's time to slow down and address what's going on the inside. Search my thoughts, God. Know my heart so that I can get to the way everlasting, the way that'll change my life. And so I encourage you with the people that are around you, or maybe if you're by yourself, just begin to kind of ask yourself this question. What's going on on the inside of me? What's happening in my heart? Is there something that you're trying to avoid, something you're trying to distract? Maybe you've been going to a club forever and haven't told anybody this. Now's your chance to really get real with what's happening on the inside of your heart so you can enter into a moment and into a space with God that'll change you forever.